see that. Yes.
So it just occurred to me that you don't know why I did that, but that's why. If you read the first paragraph.
Because we have to vote.
Yeah, it felt good to take it away from him, didn't it?
It looks so easy, too.
She is the leader of the pack right
Where'd
now.
that come from?
This
Oh,
is
for
the way
this
we do
meeting
every
only?
year. This is the inaugural meeting, so that's why.
Yeah.
And then you get to have it back.
All right, I'll let
Assuming
I'll
we
let you do
vote
it.
for him.
We're on.
I'm like, I need a.
Take your shoe off, bang something.
Okay, we're live.
Good evening. My name is Lisa Ward. I'm the town clerk, and I'll be your moderator for this portion of the meeting. I now call this meeting to order. That's how you're supposed to do it.
A little weak, but that's okay.
Thank you all for joining us this evening for the Lisbon Town Council's 18th annual organizational meeting. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So the first agenda item tonight is the inauguration of elected officials. First, we'll have the reading of the election results. One councillor for a 3-year term was re-elected, Fern Larichelle with 1,409 votes. We elected one school committee member for a 2-year term, Leonard Lednam with 1,889 votes. And we also elected a water commissioner for a 3-year term, Alan Ward with 1,972 votes. At this time, can Fern Larichelle please join me at the lectern to be sworn in? Raise your right hand and please repeat after me. I do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution and will obey the laws of the United States and of the state of Maine, that I will, in all respects, observe the provisions of the Charter and the ordinances of the town of Lisbon, and will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of town councillor. Congratulations. Can you please step to the table and sign your oath? Sure. I didn't put them in order.
I didn't either.
Got your glasses on, right?
At this time, can we please have Leonard Lednam join me at the lectern to be sworn in? Len,
Hi, how are you?
please raise your right hand. And please repeat after me. I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will support
that I will
the
support
Constitution
the Constitution
and will obey the laws
and will obey the laws
of the United States
of the United States
and of the state of Maine,
and of the state of Maine,
that I will,
that I will,
in all respects,
in all respects,
observe the provisions
observe the provisions
of the Charter
of the Charter
and the ordinances
and the ordinance
of the town of Lisbon,
of the town of Lisbon,
and will faithfully discharge
and will faithfully discharge
the duties
the duties
of the office of
of the office of
school committee member.
school committee member.
Congratulations. Thank you. Please sign your oath. And at this time, may I please have Alan Ward join me at the lectern to be sworn in. Hi, Alan. Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution
the Constitution
and will obey the laws
and obey the laws
of the United States
of the United States
and of the state of Maine,
and of the state of Maine,
that I will,
that I will,
in all respects,
in all respects,
observe the provisions
observe the provisions
of the Charter
of the Charter
and the ordinances
and the ordinances
of the town of Lisbon,
of the town of Lisbon,
and will faithfully discharge
and will faithfully discharge
the duties of the office
the duties of the office
of Water Commissioner.
of Water Commissioner.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Please sign your oath. And at this time, we'll move to the next order of business. This is Order 2023-218, the election of council chair. The
Madam
floor
Mod-
is open for nominations.
Madam Moderator, I'd like to make a nomination, Harry Moore Jr.
Thank you. Are there any other nominations? I'll close the nominations. You'll find a blank ballot on the table in front of you. Please cast your vote for one nominee by writing that name on your ballot. I'll collect them when you're done. I'm going to use the ballot box that has gone to every town meeting and every council meeting since we received it in 1902.
And how many years has that been? No. Front heavy.
It's amazing being able to sit up here.
All right. Now to read the votes. Harry Moore, Harry Moore, Harry Moore, Harry Moore, Harry Moore, and Harry Moore. Councillor Moore, congratulations. You've been elected chair of the Lisbon Town Council with a vote of 7-0. That order has passed.
Congratulations.
It looks like I didn't read the last one, but there were 7. The next order of business is Order 2023-207, election of the council vice chair. The floor is open for nominations.
I nominate Ray Robichaud as vice chair.
Ray Robichaud. Any other nominations? I will close the nominations. Please cast your vote for one nominee by writing that name on the ballot. I'll collect them when you're done. I'll now read the ballots. Ray Robichaud, Ray Robichaud, Ray Robichaud, Ray Robichaud, Ray Robichaud, Ray Robichaud, Ray Robichaud. That's all 7. Councillor Robichaud, you've been elected vice chair of the Lisbon Town Council with a vote of 7-0. This order has passed. Congratulations. Congratulations are in order to everyone as we end 2023 and head into the new year. This concludes the inaugural portion of our meeting. A motion for a short recess before we continue our regular meeting is in order so that any guests who wish may leave. Do I have a motion?
So moved. I'll second it.
All in favor? Order passed, vote 7-0. We'll recess for 5 minutes.
Gives us enough time to move chairs around here.
Yeah.
Swap those nameplates out.
You can have it back now, here.
Amy's having hammer droll symptoms here.
It's hammer time.
Is that
Do,
pos-
do, do, do.
is that position well
Excuse me?
at the bar? They were easy. You don't have to go back prep in the back of house.
Right.
Just waiting for that red light.
You can make a lot of good things.
You can. I mean, I even did. So I have a
The box.
commercial panini press, and for
Everybody always likes
Oktoberfest, I pre-boiled the brats because
Right.
that's what you do anyway, and then I just grilled them right on the panini press, and it was delicious.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
oh yeah, getting creative with what I
Yeah.
can do with it.
We're back. We are back in order. Roll call?
Counselor Kane.
Here.
Counselor Fellows.
Here.
Counselor Keller.
Here.
Counselor Larischel.
Here.
Counselor Lunt.
Here.
Counselor Moore.
Here.
Counselor Robichaud.
Yeah. Next item.
Good news and recognition.
So I just have one good news. So the wreath hanging behind you was made by Karen Dorisco at Beaver Park, using boughs from the trees in the park that were collected by Parks and Rec staff. It'll hang here till the end of the week, and then it'll be brought outside for the rest of the holiday season. So I just want to thank Karen for the beautiful wreath.
Very nice.
Nice.
It smells beautiful. It's ever since they brought it in, it just fills the whole room with it. Smells great.
Anything else? There being none, next item.
Next item is public hearings. First item is the renewal of automobile graveyard permits for Campbell's Used Auto Parts Incorporated.
I'll open that public hearing. Any comment? There being none, I'll close that public hearing.
Next item is the renewal of automobile graveyard permits for Houston's Auto Salvage.
I'll open that public hearing. Any comments? There being none, I'll close that public hearing.
The final public hearing is the renewal of liquor and special entertainment licenses for the American Legion, Coombs Mount Fort.
I'll open that public hearing. Any comments? There being none, I'll close that public hearing.
Next item is audience participation and response for agenda items. At this time, those in the audience who wish to speak may approach the lectern. Please use the microphone and state your name for the record. This portion of the agenda is solely to address items that are on today's agenda.
Anybody in the audience wish to address anything on the agenda? There being none, next item.
Next item is the consent agenda. Consent agenda items are considered routine and will be considered for adoption by one motion with no separate discussion unless a counselor requests an item be removed. Any counselor wishing to remove an item may do so now.
Yes, Mr. Chair, can we move item 5 to a separate vote, please?
There's actually
Is that-
not, you actually don't have to,
Because it's just for the public
because it's
hearing?
just setting a hearing.
Never
Right.
mind.
So, I'm sorry, I should have explained that, but
Okay.
it's just setting a hearing, so there's no need to separate it.
Your never mind is noted.
All right, Order 2023-205 to approve. Municipal accounts payable warrants, $22,021.73. Municipal payroll warrants, $254,466.73. School accounts payable, $171,346.97. School payroll warrant, $16,453.01. To set a public hearing for January 2nd for liquor license and special entertainment permits for Railroad Tavern, Olive Pit Brewing, and Lisbon Left Hand Club. The renewal of automobile graveyard permits for Campbell's Used Auto Parts and Houston's Auto Salvage. The renewal of liquor and special entertainment licenses for the American Legion, Coombs Mount Fort. To approve the minutes of September 19 and October 3rd, 2023. To set a public hearing for Triple B Pharmaceutical Alternatives for medical marijuana retail store. To set a public hearing for Crystal Spring Healing Alternatives medical marijuana retail store and medical marijuana manufacturing. And to set a public hearing for the advisory board ordinance revisions.
Make a motion to approve as presented.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Order passed, vote 7-0.
Next item.
Next item is council orders, resolutions, and ordinances. Order 2023-209, the reimbursement of Borough Road Bridge expenses.
Is there a motion for discussion?
I'll make a motion for discussion.
I'll second.
So basically, this resolution was recommended by the attorney. This just allows us to reimburse ourselves for expenses that we've already incurred prior to issuing the bond anticipation note. So any design fees or legal fees that we've used, we could use the future bond to reimburse ourselves for those that we've already incurred. But that's the long and short of that.
Mr. Chair, may I?
Yes, sir.
And if we do actually acquire money from other sources, will that actually just wash or?
So what we'll use is a bond anticipation note. So basically it's a line of credit. So we may not necessarily need to bond the full amount. So we'll use that band so we only draw down on what we actually use. So I'm hoping through I'm not familiar with the term for the federal process, but we'll know by the mid-February if we're getting the CDS money. And if not, we'll draw down on the bond.
So this bond's different than some of the stuff we do for the street improvements or other projects where we actually have to use the full amount or be penalized?
So you've done that historically, and we can talk about that with Dan Pittman, our bond counsel, but he recommended that in the future we use bond anticipation notes, so we're actually only drawing down on the amount we actually use instead of bonding for the full amount and then being
gotcha.
left with some of this because we can't pay back with the remainder down the principal or the interest. So you would use a band, complete the project, there would be interest on the note, but then once the project's completed, you can get permanent financing instead of use the short-term financing, so you're only borrowing the amount you're actually using. So.
Yeah, as long as we got prior approval for the full amount, we can actually borrow potentially up to that amount, but only use what we need to.
Right.
Yep. Perfect. Thank you.
We ready to vote? All in favor?
Order passed, vote 7-0. Next item is Order 2023-210, to authorize the town manager to accept an easement on Edgecombe Road.
Is there a motion for discussion?
I'll make the motion for discussion.
So.
And second?
Second it.
Okay, go ahead.
So it's been a while since this one's been kicking around, so I don't have the exact dates, but there was a temporary drainage easement secured, I want to say around 2010. The town never secured a permanent easement for the drainage on this property, so this is a resolution authorizing us to accept the easement and pay the property owner to secure a permanent easement on that property, which will come out of overlay.
So it will go in the landowner's deed where there's an easement now?
Right. Currently, we only have a temporary easement. There was never a permanent easement secured.
Is there any provision for erosion?
If there's going to be additional discussion on this matter, I'd recommend we do it in executive session because of potential litigation.
Okay.
Is it under litigation now, or is it?
Not if we authorize
Pending.
this payment.
Okay. Does that not answer your question? Any other discussion?
And we can table it to the next meeting if you like, if you want to discuss it further in executive. But
I believe,
You
Mr.
could-
Chair, this is probably the first step in any process.
Yeah.
This would be the first step anyways, right? So-
yeah, we just
Yeah,
get.
that's what I'm wondering.
Hmm.
Okay. All in favor?
Order passed, vote 7-0. Next item is Order 2023-211, to adopt the 2023 policy on, this should say 2024 policy on the treasurer's disbursement warrants for municipal employees.
Make a motion for discussion.
I'll second.
So this is essentially a small policy change to allow the council to, in addition to, not in lieu of, designate someone to execute the warrants for the disbursement warrants. So you can appoint one counselor to sign the warrants as opposed to getting all the signatures through DocuSign. So you can keep doing it the way you're doing it, but this would just give you the option to designate someone to execute the warrants.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Order passed, vote 7-0. Next item is Order 2023-212, to adopt the 2024 policy on the treasurer's disbursement warrants for school employees.
Make a motion for discussion, but it sounds like it's pretty much the same as the last one.
Second.
You're correct. It's the same policy.
Second.
Sorry.
Got it.
Christie seconded that, okay.
Yeah, same policy, just allowing you to do the same for the school employees.
All in favor?
Order passed, vote 7-0. Next item is the erosion control and sedimentation ordinance. This is a first reading, and it is order number 2023-217.
Make a motion for discussion again.
A second.
Mr. Chair, is this the same kind of discussion we had before, and it actually got revamped?
Yeah, so I'll just recap for folks in the audience and watching at home. So in July, Planning Board reviewed our MS4 erosion control ordinance and made, when it came to council, we made revisions to lessen the administrative burden and allowing for third-party inspections. So these were prompted at council's request. Stillwater Engineering and our legal department reworked the ordinance. Since it's not part of Chapter 70, it doesn't require it go back to the Planning Board. So the revised version designates it as Chapter 63. The attorney removed some stuff that was left from the consultant, like the word model ordinance. There was other like little changes, like they had the word municipality was changed to town. But the meat of it is to allow for these third-party inspections at the expense of the applicant. And then the fee structure and policy will go to Planning Board separately in January, and then you'll approve that in the future as a policy change. But this just sets the hearing and is a first reading, so you'll have second reading in January.
So this sets a principle, but yet the cost or the fees will actually be discussed at a later time and approved at a later time.
Yep.
Thank you.
Don, do you have anything further on this,
No, it's
the erosion thing?
just the fact that it was removed out of Chapter 70 makes all the sense in the world.
Where's the planning board on this? Are they,
There's been no other,
no other, okay. I didn't know if there was any discussion in them.
no.
So all these changes,
The
I've
only-
been communicating to the Planning Board Chair and Vice Chair too, in case they did have any additional
Okay.
comments. So they know it's coming to council
Yeah.
today. They had an opportunity to be here if they wanted to expand on
Okay.
it.
Very good.
And this is, their concern originally just essentially was that Councilor Lunt had mentioned the fee schedule being, not taking us for a ride. And so that's separation fixed it.
Very good.
This is a first reading, so it will be a roll call vote.
I was just going to say, this is a roll call vote.
Ready? Counselor Kane?
Yes.
Counselor Fellows?
Yes.
Counselor Keller?
Yes.
Counselor LaRochelle?
Yes.
Counselor Lunt?
Yes.
Counselor Moore?
Aye.
Counselor Robichaud?
Yes.
7 yeas, 0 nays. Order passed, vote 7-0.
Next item?
Under other business, we have the Sewer Department Centrifuge Replacement Project Update.
Good evening, Steve Avioli with the Sewer Department. I wanted to come give this update tonight due to the fact that this project was given approval to start the engineering, design, and bid process in April of 22. And the design portion of it has taken about a year longer than expected due to basically the amount of electrical work that's going to need to be done. Electrical engineers were expected to take about 4 months, and it's been well beyond that. It was about 8 months. But I just wanted to stop and give this update because the engineering design is complete. DEP actually just sent an email to Glenn today saying that they basically approve of the design, had no comments or anything to make on it. I have not heard if Rural Development has approved the design of it yet, but we're anticipating going out to bid hopefully within the next few weeks in order to come to council probably the first meeting in February for approval to award the bid. But being it's been such a long time, I wanted to just give this update to bring it back to the forefront so everybody's aware of it, so I didn't come out of the blue. especially for the project of this size and scope.
Mr. Chair, may I?
Yes, sir.
You anticipating, since it actually started so long ago, are you anticipating that the inflation of this project has actually changed in the last year to the point where you may have to, well, you think you have adequate funds to be able to do what you wanted to do, I guess?
There's been no indication to me that there's been any change in the anticipated cost. That's why I left it the same in the memo I put together for this.
Yep.
So right now it's fingers crossed that no, it'll come in and within the funding amount that we have approved.
Nice, thank you.
Anything else?
That's all I have.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Next item is the town manager's report.
So just a couple things. We recently completed a phone upgrade and cutover for the entire town on Friday. Thank you, Lisa, for your help. I wasn't in the office, so Lisa really stepped up to get that across the finish line. The ROS1 workshop, I know that the council had discussed with the planning board back a couple months ago about changes to the ROS1 and ROS2, and the council wanted to do some stakeholder engagement with property owners. We put out some marketing materials today. We're going to hold that stakeholder engagement session on January 25th at 6 p.m. And anybody watching online, North Star Planning and folks in the audience put out a memo today that's on our website that goes over the rationale for the changes and what the plan is, and an opportunity to hear from residents on those changes. We had our first snow event a couple days ago, so I just wanted to remind residents about winter parking ban guidelines, and when a parking ban is in effect that they need to remove their vehicle from the roadway. They can always check our website, social media, or give a call into PD to see if there's a ban in effect. Also in November, Lisbon PD welcomed Tom Hibbert from Tri-County Mental Health as an options counselor. So Tom's going to work with the PD on Tuesday, Fridays, and Wednesdays. He's also going to help out Sabatis PD, and this is for advanced training and counseling for drug and alcohol addiction issues. So I think this was fully grant funded. It's not at any cost to the town, but we'll have some additional resources available for residents who are struggling with those issues. And I just wanted to tip my hat to the work they're doing over there and let folks know we have this new resource available. But other than that, that's the majority of my report for this meeting.
Any comments? Questions? Next item?
Next item is council goals.
Council goals, I think.
So each year, usually in January, the council discusses their goals. And so this is more of a preliminary discussion for council. I provided the goals that were stated last year as a starting point. So council can have some discussion today and more at the next meeting, whatever you decide.
Yeah, I would just ask each counselor to come back to our meeting in January. I don't know whether it'll be the first one or the second one, but probably the second one.
Okay.
With four or five goals that you have, and the town manager as well. And we can revisit this at that time.
Okay.
We can review the council goals at your leisure. Everybody has them, the ones that exist at the current time.
So that's the 16th meeting for January?
Maybe.
First meeting is on the 2nd. The second is on the 16th.
Yeah.
I did put we put new calendars out for you, so they're right here. These are the new.
Oh, look at that.
Nice work.
Nice.
We like to spoon feed you.
Done.
Next item,
Next item are council committee reports.
school committee.
One second. The school committee met last week and had just a couple items in their agenda. The Student Voice presented their case for weighted GPAs, so that's being further examined. And then they had a recap of state testing and dyslexia screening.
Planning Board?
Planning Board didn't meet last month, but they meet on the 14th of this month.
Lisbon Development Committee?
Nothing to report.
Conservation Commission, their next meeting is April something, some date in April. I attended their last meeting, and there was quite a discussion about the forestry process. I don't know where that is. I know they were trying to mark the boundaries with a surveyor so they didn't cut somebody else's trees.
Very important.
Parks and Rec?
Meeting was not last night. It's been moved to next week, so I have nothing to report.
County Budget Committee? Don't get me going. With that. Library Governing Board?
Lots of stuff going on at the library as usual, and Fern reminded me tonight that I do not have an update about Mary Main Street, but on December 16th they have a party and walk around the town as they usually do, and sing carols and give little gifts. And I just wanted to say, and this is totally different than what I usually do, so here's the book report part of the evening. So I am very happy to say that given the recent occurrences, that the library has stepped up and provided a book on that's called Inside the Mission to Stop Mass Shootings in America. So this is a very, very well-written, well-researched, and well worth reading. And it talks about the process of becoming a shooter. Somebody just doesn't wake up and say, I'm going to go out and do this. So it talks about the process and the possibilities for intervention and what we can do next.
Thank you. Water Commission?
No update since the last meeting, but they meet the 12th.
Finance Committee? No updates. Next item?
Next item is under appointments to reappoint Jesse Zach to the Zoning Board of Appeals.
I'll make that motion if you're looking for a vote.
Second.
I assume he's on that Zoning Board of Appeals now?
Yeah, his appointment expired, and this is a reappointment. It's
okay.
just some committees there's no reappointing until somebody leaves, but some committees are time.
Just expired. No.
Yeah,
just
it expired.
reappointed.
Yep, it's just a reappointment. But the Zoning Board of Appeals is a really vital board, so we like to stay on top of that. We are short one member of that board right now, not including Mr. Zach. So we're working on looking for somebody who can be on that board.
All in favor?
Order passed. Vote 7-0.
Can you tell us where we are on committee shortages right now?
I don't know offhand, but I can put together a list and email it out to council.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yep.
Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
We can do some recruiting maybe.
I think we need to, yep. Especially for finance. I think that's going to be important
Especially finance.
coming up shortly.
All right.
Next item?
Next item is council communications.
Mr. Chair,
Don.
I have a letter written today to Harry Moore and to the town council. Mr. Chair, it is with some regret that I am submitting my resignation as a member of the town council. As you know, my term does not expire until this time, in 2025, but I am faced with a dilemma. My wife Jane and I will be staying with family in Hawaii this winter and not returning until spring. While I could participate remotely, the revised town council rules prevent me from being counted as present for the entirety of that time. Those rules were intended to ensure that town officials were present in town to represent the citizens adequately. I don't disagree, particularly since the policy only concerns the town councilor elected position. I have enjoyed representing the citizens of this town and have learned a great deal in the process, but feel that being with family is important as well. I continue to want to volunteer time and effort, however I may in the future, and I wish to remain active in the Lisbon Development Committee and the Lewiston Lower Road Rail Use Advisory Committee. I may be available to help on Finance Committee in the future as well. I understand that a special election in the early spring to replace me is in order, and my resignation will be effective December 23rd of this year. My regards.
With reluctance, Don, I mean, all I can say is Hawaii, Maine, Hawaii, 4 months, yeah.
A little tough, I know.
I know, it was put all, I mean, I honestly know that it hurts because you've been really active over the years and you've been beneficial over the years. You haven't been just a seat holder, placeholder, and I commend you for that. I mean, there's, you know, you are an in-depth person when it comes to your responsibilities, and I appreciate that for sure.
Thank you.
Yeah,
And-
I'll second it. I mean, for the 2 years I've been with Don, anything he's assigned, he gives it 150%.
He does.
And the research he does is accurate and very, very, very impressive. That's all. That's going to be missed for sure. I mean, you definitely do a great job in what you do.
I might sit out there. You're not really getting rid of me.
No, I get it.
We welcome that.
And
Jay, may
I want to thank you, Don, too, for the skill, experience, and wisdom that you have helped me with. So I really appreciate you, and we will miss you.
Thank you.
I would say I've also worked with you a long time when you were on the planning board for a long time before you were on the council, and so I've had a long time to work with you, and I've also appreciated all the hard work you've brought to this job and the expertise and thoughtfulness and concern for the environment. All those things are very important and commendable.
Thanks, Mark.
And again, I don't think Don's going anywhere. It's very far. I mean, I think we're going to be, whether we like him or not, he's going to be here. So, no. But I do. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Might as well hit the ball right out of the park.
Yeah, and Don's actually, as you said, he actually has always given us all and a little bit more. And, one thing I appreciate, Don, is we've had our fair share of disagreements. I mean, we've actually left here totally different sides of discussions. But the next day we can talk about it, shake hands, discuss things out, which I think is really missing in a lot of not just politics in general, but even local stuff. So
Maybe we should go to Congress. What do you think?
I don't know. I think Don's is a good example of how you can actually have different opinions, and no one's really right? It's just an opinion, and actually walk away from it. And every time we have a disagreement, we usually both pick up something, I think, from it, one way or the other. And we learn that just because we think it's right doesn't mean it's always right. And I think that's really important today. So I will miss those times, but I'm sure that I will get a phone call if he disagrees with something I'm doing. So I don't think that's a problem. Thank you, Don, for all your time, and I'm sure we'll see more of you. And there are a lot of committees that could use your expertise. So
Definitely.
yep.
Chair, I have one thing on this. This is a little different here. So I've had some town residents, whether they're running into me at Food City or stopping by or whatever, they like to know if we can do something with the Christmas tree that's over by Extra Mart. They feel that it's not doing justice for the town. I mean, either what they're asking me to ask us is either we go do it right or take the lights off. I mean, they're just kind of, if you look at it, they're just kind of thrown on there. They're loose. There's no uniformity at all. It's just not a very nice looking Christmas tree. So I told him I would mention it. So, you know, I think it needs lights wrapped around like if we're going to have a Christmas tree, as to their point, it should look like a Christmas tree. So I told them I would bring it up tonight as they asked me to.
Mr. Chair,
Actually had
I have been by that tree at 4 o'clock in the morning, and I totally concur.
I mean,
I actually had a lift out there to put the lights on,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it's
I don't know what's different than from last year, but
I
it
think
looks
horrible.
it's actually, in the past, it's actually been known as the spaceship at times, because the way it just sometimes it looks. I've actually had a few people discuss that with me at length, and my personal feeling is that the tree actually is getting too large now to actually be able to decorate correctly. You mean, because with a lift, I mean, you know what it would take to actually wrap lights around a tree. It'd be almost impossible, if not unsafe. I think recommendations going forward would be the idea of the gazebo looks really nice, looks really tasteful. I mean, even if we actually picked a smaller tree and actually decorated it to go next to the gazebo, there's one in the middle of it now. I just think that tree is actually, it's getting quite large, and I'm not sure we have removed trees in that area in the last few years because of different reasons, because of getting large, and because there were issues. I just don't know, and I don't think there's, and hopefully it doesn't come across wrong, because I know it's a very difficult job to do with the lift. And any way we decorate it, so I don't want to knock anybody that's actually put the time in, because I don't think the thought was is just do it halfway. I think the problem is it's just a very large tree, and it's probably gone beyond its days of being able to be decorated real nicely. So I think in future years, if we may just look at doing something maybe a little bit simpler and smaller. Again, Graziano Square actually seems to be kind of being able to keep it simple and keep it nice, and again, I don't want to knock anybody that worked hard to do it, but on the other hand, I think we just run into a situation where the tree is just too big to decorate now. So
A few residents echoed the same thing. They felt we should cut it down and replace it with a smaller tree that has time to grow. The growth will be there at a longer period of time. So
I kind of feel like this is Maine. I mean, there's big trees everywhere that are decorated. I don't know why we can't figure out how to decorate a big tree. I mean, whether it's a lift on one side and maybe the ladder truck on the other side, and just pass it around and go
Sure, it
around
can
as
be
you
done.
go around. I think it's a nice big tree that
It is a
if it
beautiful
was
tree.
decorated right, it would really look good. And there's no reason why you can't figure out how to go around that tree.
it's at one of
I mean,
the most
you look around
busiest
Maine, they're all over the place.
intersections that we have in town.
yeah,
I think one of the things that makes it offensive is the fact that it looks like loops hanging there,
Yeah.
rather than even straight lines
Yeah.
straight down, and that's kind of how it just strikes
For
you
the
when you
meantime,
go
they
in.
probably ought to just turn it off. Really.
I get critique for doing my own tree at home, so I know that's really difficult at times to do things right. So, but again, I think, watching the process, I mean, there's really only one place you can actually position the lift safely there, because you can't get around the other side because there's water. The other side's 196. So I mean, for one or two people to do it at this point, I mean, I think it's going to be very tricky. I mean, I'm sure there's ways of doing everything, right? The idea would be is just to have the proper tools and the proper technique, and maybe maybe it just needs to be looked at. That's all.
The other point maybe to be made is that there are professional companies that do that, and the work that they do, I'm sure, isn't cheap, but it really looks good when they're done. And if we're going to do it, we might as well do it right.
Yeah, I mean, because, don't get them wrong, they mentioned it to me more than once. It's in a perfect spot. It's got a very high visibility, Route 9 and 196. And, at one time, years ago, it looked very, very nice. And they said to me that it seems as time goes, we're more satisfied with it not looking as good. And
I agree.
So I thank them for their input, and they weren't vicious, or they weren't slamming.
I agree, but I think there's a
anybody.
way to look at it and try to figure out how to do it right, rather than abandon it. I think it would really look good if it was.
It is a nice.
Because I feel like back in the day, and it was probably a little bit smaller, but it was like a regular tree. And then for some reason they started going with just the lines going down.
The tree has a pretty good height to it now. I mean, that's a large tree. Which is, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's a beautiful tree. It's just one of those things where.
You need a real bucket truck to do it now.
Yeah, I just
And
think
the
there needs to be
ladder truck,
some
the ladder
direction.
truck can reach it, right?
couple.
Off 196 maybe, yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Or off of the other one,
Hmm.
whatever that road is.
Still
since
Frost
I-
Hill Extension.
Since I retired, I don't remember the roads anymore.
Frost Hill Extension. It used to be Frost Hill, now it's just Extension.
Frost, yeah, it was Frost Hill
Correct.
back in the
50
day.
years of travel and
Exactly, I know, right? That's just, okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Joe Jean.
I have, on a totally different note, 2 updates. One is I attended the National Incident Management Systems training on Friday. I would recommend everyone spending their Friday night that way. It was very, very
Why?
intense, very informative, and quite exhausting. So this is the information I brought back. So I will be.
You can share it with us? or-
Oh yes.
Thanks.
Would you like me to read parts of it?
No, I've been there. Been there, done that.
Story time.
Well, I'll actually
How many
add
times?
that
Story time.
I believe the training is a required training since the council adopted the NIMS resolution, but I have to confirm that. So if you haven't had it, we can set you up for the NIMS training.
Yeah, I've had
I
it.
think we're all good.
Yeah.
Me and Harry went to the same one
Last year.
last year. Yeah.
And, you know, the training was in the Lewiston fire station, which gave me a really good overview of what a fire station could be. I
That-
didn't get to go into all the rooms,
That's
but
actually the basement of the fire station. It's not the fire station, it's the
right,
County
but
Emergency Management
it's
Agency.
the same building.
Right, right.
So
They've done a
and
lot of upgrades there. It's beautiful.
It is, and they have a
Yeah,
great
we did it
kitchen
last time.
and just
Mark.
things at a fire
Aaron's the
station.
Head maid chief, and he.
Excuse me.
Oh, sorry. Yes, ma'am.
Things at a
Get your
fire
ruler.
station.
Get your ruler.
So, I also attended a Androscoggin Saginaw County Extension meeting, and just wanted to remind people that they do a lot with farmers. So, if you have any knowledge about someone who needs help, who's a farmer, information there, and especially for Fern and Dawn, which I had no idea that this was going to be so appropriate, but we had some information about the 5 conflict styles that people have. So, so if anyone is interested or the board is interested in, you know, reviewing some of those styles, I do have information, and we do have our contacts with our ASCEA. So, thank you.
I don't think Fern and I know what style we have, but we like it.
That's right. We probably do agree more than we disagree. But when we disagree pretty hard.
Disagree without being disagreeable. That's
Here's one, do it my way or not at all.
Well, that's similar, right?
That's it.
I think that's my wife's. Pretty much, that's her mantra.
And that's the shark.
Yeah.
Seriously,
Pretty much. Anything else? Okay, next item.
Next item is audience participation in response to new items. At this time, those in the audience who wish to speak may approach the lectern to address items or issues that are not on the agenda. Please speak clearly into the microphone and state your name for the record.
You, sir, are our audience.
I'm enjoying this.
I'm sure you are. Okay.
Welcome.
welcome.
Well, welcome. Welcome to the town. Okay.
Where was you from prior to Elizabeth Falls? I'm sorry? Where was your residence prior? Bath. Bath?
Bath.
Yep. Wow. What drove you to our small town?
Oh,
Got it.
not easy, huh?
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad we could accommodate you. Next item.
Next item is an executive session for personnel matters per 1 MRSA, Section 4056A.
make a motion to go into executive session.
A second.
All in favor?
Order passed, vote 7-0.
Thank you.
Welcome.
I don't anticipate a vote coming out of this, so.
Okay. I will leave this page with you.
Okay.